What's going on, fellas? So in this video, a judge is claiming that the dad doesn't owe child support after the child's 18th birthday. But the mom is going insane. Imagine that. Let's get into it.
You actually have a court order that orders Mr. Smith to pay child support to Miss Smith?
Yes.
You do? No offense, your interpretation is not the same thing as me reading it specifically.
Were you working at Excel Mulching at the time of the last order in 2019?
I'm not sure what order that was. That's when, yes, sir.
And you need to be paying child support for that child.
Yes, sir.
But unfortunately, the court order that was done in 2019 didn't order you to pay child support for that child.
Right.
All right, guys, this is one of the wildest child support cases you'll ever see. We've got Ms. Smith and Mr. Smith here. They have 2 kids, and Mr. Smith has been paying $750 a month for his older daughter, Grace. Now, Grace just turned 18 and is about to graduate in a couple of months. Mr. Smith thinks he should stop paying child support now that she's 18, but the mom feels he should keep paying until she graduates. In the end, the judge sides with the dad, saying he can stop payments since she's already 18, even if she hasn't graduated yet. Personally, though, I think it would make sense to keep supporting her until she graduates. She's still his kid, right? Anyway.
Well, I would have thought that, well, maybe this is the way in some states that you had to file to say, hey, she's 18 or he's 18, the child is 18. I shouldn't have to pay child support anymore. That's the way I thought it would have gone in some states. Let's get into it.
Anyway, let's check it out.
You actually have a court order that orders Mr. Smith to pay child support to Miss Smith?
Yes.
You do? No offense, your interpretation is not the same thing as me reading it specifically from the court order, okay?
So he doesn't owe me child support?
Not after May 21st, not after May of 2021, he doesn't. Whatever he owed
I
you.
still have Matthew.
Confirmation of child support arrears. The court order states this child support ended as daughter graduated from high school, although there is another child that's still under the age.
This is in the District Court of Newton County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Barry Grace and Matthew Smith. Both parties are now present.
How is Matthew covered with health insurance?
I have Medicaid.
And has Mr. Smith paid you any money directly?
No, ma'am.
Since your last order? Okay. Did you have any safety concerns with your personal information being in this order?
No, ma'am.
I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Oh, snap. Looks like Miss Smith just got schooled on her own court order. This judge is not here for anyone's interpretation, but the facts.
Mr. Smith, where are you working?
I'm working at Excel Mulching in Carthage, Texas. Well, that's where their office is.
How much are
He out there in the sticks. He out there in the sticks. So he's paying $750, or he's supposed to be paying $750 a month. So if the daughter is 18, I'm assuming that gets split in half to him going down to maybe around $350, $400 a month.
are you making per hour?
Making $25 an hour.
And how many hours a week do you work?
I've only been working 50 for the last month or so. Generally, we work 60 hours, but sometimes, like now, it's...
In Carthage, that makes sense. In that area, about that wage, that makes sense.
just slow, so we're only working 50.
Do you have any health insurance available through your employer?
I'm pretty sure that they offer it, but I haven't been here long enough that they've offered it to me.
How long have you been there?
Getting close to 90 days.
At the time, I asked the court to take judicial notice of the prior order.
The court will take judicial notice of its own file.
Were you working at Excel Mulching at the time of the last order in 2019?
I'm not sure what order that was. That's when they added some behind payments to it or something.
Have you previously worked at Excel Mulching?
Yes, ma'am. I've worked here on and off since 2013.
Okay, you've been back there for the last 90 days.
Yes, ma'am. My kind of work pipeline is just you start a job, and once it's over, it's find another job. Might last a couple months, might last 9 or 10 months, you know.
I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
I have no more witnesses, and I want to pretty much non-suit the modification and just get a confirmation of arrears.
Hold up. Mr. Smith is making $25 an hour and working 50 to 60 hours a week. That's some serious cash. No wonder they're fighting over child support.
Do you actually have a court order that orders Mr. Smith to pay child support to Miss Smith?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, Your Honor.
When was that signed?
That was signed November the 20th of 2019.
All right. Let's see if you actually have that. Y'all be patient with me for just 1 second, okay? I got a court order signed by the judge on September the 11th of 2019. In this court order, it says that apparently there was some earlier custody issues between Mr. and Miss Smith and some third parties.
Yes, sir.
All right. So in this new custody issue from 2019,
The new custody.
that's okay, Miss Smith. I've got the paperwork right in front of me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't. No offense. Your interpretation is not the same thing as me reading it specifically from the court order. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And there was also one titled Nunc of Prior Order. That was after that one.
All right. So there were 2 children in the court order, Gracie and Matthew. Miss Smith was named as the primary joint managed conservator. Mr. Smith was named as a possessory conservator. Amended order, it said that he was supposed to pay her $750 a month
Yes, Your Honor.
beginning October 1st. Okay. And the state has non-suited its request for modification.
Yes, because when we originally filed it, his wages were a lot lower, and now they've kind of gotten back to similar what it was in the prior order.
This judge is like a legal detective, digging through all these court orders. Miss Smith better watch out, because it looks like her interpretation might not hold up.
So based on what we just lost. Hold on, Mr. Smith. We lost Miss Smith. Of course, that would happen as soon as I had gotten this all figured out. We were getting ready to get finished. You got a problem in this case, Miss Leonard, a big problem.
Okay.
I have a question, Your Honor.
Hold on. I can't do anything until Miss Smith gets back, okay?
Are you talking about the any child?
Yep. This child support ended as soon as Grace graduated from high school. Mr. Smith, when did Grace graduate from high school?
That's what I was going to tell you, Your Honor. In 2020, she's married now, and she's been living with her husband for 2 years. She lived with me at the end of 2019 for about 6 months.
Okay.
That's when she graduated.
That doesn't answer my question, Mr. Smith. When did Grace graduate from high school?
2020, I believe.
Okay. So that means her child support would have ended in October of 2020, even though she graduated 4 or 5 months before that. All right. So
We do need to
October of
modify.
2020.
And that was my question.
And unfortunately, your pay record is also incorrect, Ms. Hill Leonard, because your pay record continues this child support, which should have stopped on October the 30th of 2020.
Oh boy, the plot thickens. Looks like someone's been collecting child support they shouldn't have. This is about to get messy.
And I wonder if they're going to make her pay that back. I personally don't think that she would be able to pay that back, because a lot of times these modern women they be doing stuff that they should not be doing. And then when it's time, like they be out there living their best life on somebody else's dime. And then when it's time for them to pay the piper, and they be like, I don't have it. I spent it on a vacation. What are you supposed to be spending on the child? Yeah, I spent it on the child indirectly because I went on vacation and I took them with me. But I was eating lobster and steak and they were eating mac and cheese.
The state does ask for the modification, and we'll just have to get the pay record fixed at a later date.
You obviously have the right to start it up again because you have a child that's still under 18.
Mhm.
But you can't.
We have to fix the pay record for the confirmation.
Not that, but you got to fix that court order from 20.
Yeah. So I want to do the modification, and then we'll just not suit the confirmation of arrears. So that's in reverse.
Well, Ms. Smith is still not joining us. Mr. Smith, can you still hear me? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So look, this is what we got here. I got one child that's still under the age of 18.
Yes, sir.
And you need to be paying child support for that child.
Yes, sir.
But unfortunately, the court order that was done in 2019 didn't order you to pay child support for that child.
Right.
Because the court order says that you pay $750 a month until any child. Oh, wait, that might be her. Look, that is her. Miss Smith, I have reviewed all of the prior court orders in this case.
She about to flip. she's about to flip. She didn't have child support on that other child, and he was paying $750. So that she would have to file for child support on that other one, but her child support is about to go down to zero. If I'm hearing correctly, what? She's about to flip.
And there is a major problem with the court order that was done in 2019, okay?
This judge is about to drop a bombshell. Miss Smith better brace herself, because it looks like her child support gravy train might be coming to a screeching halt.
I'm going to put this up on the screen so you can see it. You see where it says that Mr. Barry Glenn Smith Jr. is supposed to pay you $750 a month beginning October the 1st?
Yes, sir.
You see right there where it has the number 1? You see where it has
Okay. The child reaches 18 years of age, because I have two that are now 18.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem is, you see where it says any child reaches? You see where that says by 1?
Uh-huh.
All right. That means when any of the 2 children you had from this court order ages out, his child support stops.
Well, that's why I haven't been getting any.
It may be. I just know that the court order says what it says. So Mr. Smith's child support should have ended in October of 2020 when Grace turned 18.
Well, she didn't graduate till May.
Oh, she didn't graduate till the next May 2021?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well then it should go through May of 2021, but it's supposed to stop then.
But why when I get, why was it written like that, I guess is my question.
I don't know.
Does that mean...
I'm not the attorney who wrote it, so I don't know why it was written that way.
Ouch! Miss Smith just got hit with the legal equivalent of a ton of bricks. That's what happens when you don't read the fine print, folks.
It was written that way.
Okay. So he doesn't owe me child support?
And honestly, there might not have been a way that she would have known that unless she had an attorney to interpret. Obviously, there's a lot of people that don't understand legalese. I'm just a normal person. How would I understand what that says unless somebody sits down and explains these are the terms and conditions, this is what you're going to be getting? Do you have any thoughts? If you have any thoughts, we can go back to court and see if we can get this modified. This is going to be terrible for her.
Not after May 21st, not after May of 2021, he doesn't. Whatever he owed you.
Still have Matthew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The court order, the way this court order is written, he's not ordered to pay you child support for that child.
Do you mean I have to go back to court?
No, they've got a modification now. I can fix this today.
Because that's not fair that I know that Grace aged out, but Matthew has not aged out.
I agree. It's not fair, but I can't change the court order in the past, Miss Smith. All I can do is fix it from this point forward.
So all these months, Barry doesn't owe me anything.
He doesn't owe you anything from May. Right. He doesn't owe you anything from June of 2021 until now. There was no child support ordered for that period of time. Okay, I didn't create the order, Miss Smith. I didn't write it. I didn't sign it. Somebody else did all those things. But that's clearly what the court order says. That's why we don't use any children in court orders. Yeah, we don't do that any child stuff, okay?
Yes, sir.
I don't agree with it, but I can't go back in time and fix it, Miss Smith. The law doesn't allow me to do that.
This judge is laying down the law like a boss. Miss Smith's face must be as red as a tomato right now. Talk about a reality check.
All right, Miss Smith is here. Miss Hill Leonard, you can call your next witness.
Miss Smith,
yes.
Just to make sure, you said that when did Grace graduate?
I don't know. She was born in 2002, so 21 probably is how that works. That's when, and it was in May when she graduated. It's not for people to do.
I passed this witness, Your Honor, and I call Miss Shaw. Where do you work?
I work for the Office of the Attorney General.
And what is your role in the Office of the Attorney General?
I'm a financial specialist.
And in your role, are you able to obtain income information for the non-custodial parents?
I am.
And what have you found for the past year for Mr. Smith?
Found that he averaged $57,302.32 for the last 4 quarters.
And so the monthly average
Monthly,
was
$4,775.19.
Were there any other court orders for any other children?
No, I did not find any.
I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Are you next witness?
I have no more witnesses.
The state rest.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold up. Mr. Smith's making over $4,700 a month? No wonder Miss Smith's fighting tooth and nail for that child support.
All right. Well, it's here, so I need to try to get it fixed and worked out. Miss Smith, I have just placed on the record a copy of the pay record in your case with Mr.
But is that 47 gross or is that 47 net? Because if it's 47 net or 47 gross, then that's not as much money with the 750 coming out of that. About 15. It's not that terrible. 15% of the paycheck. Yeah, it's about 15%.
Mr. Smith, is it okay if I look at this pay record?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, do you have any objection to me looking at this pay record?
No, sir.
All right. So I've already taken judicial notice of the court's file, which means I have looked at and reviewed all the prior orders in this case. The court is going to note on the record that the court order from 2019 did change custody of the children and gave the children back to Ms. Smith. However, the court order ordered Mr. Smith to pay child support until any of the two children graduated, which is a problem because there's a pretty good difference in the ages between the last two children, that being Grace and Matthew. So the way the court order is written, that would mean when Grace emancipated, Mr. Smith's child support effectively terminated. Now, Ms. Smith said that she thinks that Grace graduated in 2021. Mr. Smith, do you agree with that? Do you think she graduated the year after she turned 18, which is pretty normal?
Actually, she dropped out of public school and she finished.
She still got.
Hold on, Miss Smith, don't interrupt.
Tell her to tell the fact.
Well, Miss Smith, if you give me a chance, I'll come back to you and let you answer the questions your way, okay?
Yeah.
This judge is like a legal Sherlock Holmes, piecing together this messy puzzle. Miss Smith better zip it before she gets herself in more trouble.
Way, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Smith, you said she dropped out of high school. When did she drop out of high school?
I'm not exactly sure, Your Honor. She
So
did
that doesn't help me,
complete.
Mr. Smith. If you don't know when that happened, it doesn't help me, okay?
It was her senior year. She finished with the high school diploma through a home education type course thing.
But if you can't tell me when that happened, Mr. Smith, then
In
I can't
2020, I'm almost positive she graduated when she was 2020.
Miss Smith, do you know whether or not Grace dropped out of high school?
Yes, we went out of public school and we went to a home school where I paid
Okay.
for her education, and that's how she.
When did she drop out of public school?
I believe she went her whole senior year to private homeschool.
Okay. So you don't think that she was enrolled her last year in school in a public school?
So now it becomes, for me, the question becomes, when did she graduate with the diploma? Was it around the same time that other kids would have walked? Because he's saying part of the way she dropped out in her senior year, but Miss Smith comes back and says, no, she never went her senior year. We did a homeschool the whole year. So she's actually not making her case greater. Now, when did she get her GED or her high school diploma equivalent?
No, sir, she wasn't. It was through a private school.
Okay. Through a private school, like a homeschool.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
She is correct. I just
That's
looked
okay.
back.
That's okay, Mr. Smith. I haven't asked you anything else yet, okay?
Yes, sir.
This is like watching a ping pong match of confusion. Nobody seems to know when this girl actually graduated. Talk about a parenting fail.
Look, guys, you lived through this. I didn't. So I'm trying to catch up with 3 years of history in about 15 minutes. So let me make sure that the history I catch up with is correct, okay?
Yes, sir.
Why did it take the state so long to get Miss Smith to cooperate with their lawsuit?
Because I went to the actual place in Port Arthur or somewhere down there where I'm regioned at to go to the office, and they said I didn't have to do anything. And so I don't know. I'm just now getting emails to do this. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't even request this. So I don't know. What do you mean it's taking me so long?
Well, and this is a lawsuit, Ms. Smith, where the state of Texas the AG's office represents themselves. They don't represent either you or Mr. Smith. So
yes, sir.
In a modification suit, I have the right to go back all the way back to the date the parties were served to start this child support again. Unfortunately, Ms. Smith, you were not served with this case until September the 28th of 2022. That means I can't start the child support again until October the 1st of 2022. How did you say that Matthew was covered for insurance, Ms. Smith?
Texas Medicaid.
Okay. And Mr. Smith, do you have any other children besides Matthew?
Grace and
that are
Barry.
still underage.
These are my only 3 children.
Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir.
Ms. Smith, is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir.
This judge deserves a medal for patience. He's untangling years of mess in minutes. Miss Smith's about to learn a hard lesson about following up on legal matters.
Look, y'all, this is real complicated. You didn't make it complicated. It's not your fault. I didn't make it complicated. It's not my fault. The AG's office didn't make it complicated. It's not their fault. All right. There's a bad court order in this case from 2019 that needs to get fixed. And I'm going to fix that today. I wish I had the right to go back in time and fix it, because this child, Matthew, deserves support all the time. But I can't fix court orders back in time. I have to just fix them and keep moving. Okay. The law doesn't allow me to go back in time and fix it. Okay. So I'm going to fix what I can. And that's what I'm going to do today. The court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find that based on the testimony of the parties and all of the exhibits that have been admitted into evidence, as well as the prior court orders in this case, I'm going to find that as of her birth date in the year 2020, child support terminated. She was not fully enrolled in a accredited high school education program that allowed for child support to continue past her 18th birthday. Homeschools generally are not accredited. It takes special type of licensing to get accredited.
Why?
Ms. Smith, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me, Ms. Smith. Okay? I know what the law is in regards to this issue. And unfortunately, homeschooling is not considered an accredited high school diploma.
Ouch! Miss Smith just got schooled on homeschooling laws. That's gotta hurt.
And the fact it's not that I don't know if they can get accredited. Maybe I need to do more research on that. But most people just take their kids out of public school and just go through the coursework. And all of the coursework leads to a test, I'm assuming. And that test would lead to, okay, this is what the equivalent would be. But you yourself, up until that point, it's not accredited. It's not verifiable. You might be doing the right thing, but it's just not verified by anything. Is it wrong or right? I don't know. But at homeschool, you can do different things. Your standard might be even better than the public school. It might be. It probably is in a lot of situations, because you're giving your child that specific energy, that specific attention that they can have. And obviously, in some cases, it's not better. But that's an easy way for the state to say, okay, even though this public school is trash, we know, or we think we know, that they're supposed to be teaching these kids X, Y, and Z. Obviously, we know in some instances, in a lot of cities, underfunded, socioeconomic status is low. We know that these kids are not getting the proper amount of education, the proper resources, which is why you have programs like Teach for America. I think it is, but that's the way for them to tell, no matter how errant it is, what the child is supposed to be learning.
So the child support is going to terminate as of October of 2020. The judgment will be granted as of the end of that month, and I'll find that Mr. Smith was behind in his child support the amount of $1,710.34. behind his medical support in the amount of $25. Effective November the 1st of 2020, child support terminated based on the court order from 2019. That's how it was written. That's how it has to be interpreted. There's no room for me to maneuver within that court order to start Mr. Smith's child support for the last 2 years. I don't have the ability to do it.
So what about Matthew? What's going on with that?
But I can start it up now, and I am going to start it up now.
This judge is laying down the law like a boss. Miss Smith's probably feeling like she just got hit by a legal truck right now.
Up now. Starting October the 1st of 2022, Mr. Smith is ordered to pay Crystal Smith the amount of $765 a month in child support. I'll order Miss Smith to maintain the health insurance that she has on the child, and he will be ordered to pay an additional $150 a month in cash medical. Mr. Smith will pay back the judgment that he owes for child support by paying an additional, let's say $30 a month on the child support, and we'll say $5 a month on the medical support for those amounts. Those will also begin October the 1st of 2022. Mr. Smith will be responsible for court costs, but I'll give him until May 31st of 2023 to pay my court costs.
Looks like Mr. Smith's wallet is about to take a hit, but hey, at least he's getting a payment plan, right?
Miss Leonard, did the state hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Smith, Mr. Smith, Miss Hill Leonard's office is going to prepare a court order for me. As long as it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to get it back to them, and then they'll make copies of it and send it to each of you. Now, you don't have to be satisfied with my ruling. There's no other way that a court can do anything other than what I did today, but you have the right to appeal if you wish to do so.
The judge is basically saying, don't like it? Too bad. But here's how you can complain about it officially. Classic courtroom drama.
If you wish to appeal, your appeal has to be in writing. It's got to be filed in the next 3 business days in the Newton County District Clerk's office. Your appeal has to be specific. You got to state in your appeal what part of my ruling you disagree with. And you're also responsible for making sure that you send a copy of that written appeal to all the other non-appealing parties. According to this pay record that I have, he owes $1,710.34 in child support and $25 in medical support.
Your Honor, what about the child support that was paid since the child support was
You'll have
terminated?
to take that up with the Attorney General's office, Mr. Smith. I don't have any jurisdiction, Mr. Smith, to order the AG's office to do stuff with money. Once they get the money in their hands, they do with it what they wish. That's a federal law, and I don't have the jurisdiction in federal courts.
And there's the final plot twist. Mr. Smith might have overpaid, but the judge is basically saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. Talk about a bureaucratic nightmare.
I wish you both the best of luck. I really do wish there was something I could do to fix that court order from 2019, but I cannot go back in time. The law doesn't allow it, but I can at least fix it from this point forward. You're both free to go. Try to have a good day.
He was good to her. I know she wanted to complain a little bit there, but he was good to her. The way the court order was written, the child support stopped. And really, it should have been at that point, in my opinion, according to the order, well, he's done paying child support because that's how it was written. Yeah, sure, you can pay back child support, back pay, you can do that, right? But the court order didn't have the other child in there. We're not talking about what's morally right and what he should be doing. We're talking about what the court order said. The court order said any child that crosses the threshold of 18 and they graduate, you pay in child support. Oh, you miss these payments, go ahead and catch up on those, and then you're done. But the judge did right by her and said, okay, I'm not only going to give you child support, but I'm going to, I guess because he's making more money, I'm going to give you more in child support, and then he's going to pay medical as well. So in my opinion, she should have been happy about that. But she was still over there coughing and breathing and wheezing and all that other nonsense. Just take it. It wasn't a good situation. The court order wasn't written up correctly the first time. It is what it is. That's what happens sometimes in the court system. But that's just my opinion. To the next video, I'm out.